that's why it's really important to have a plan and understand what your goals are.
In fact, my camel out there is suffering right now with a broken back.
So I actually found Pepe when it was only a couple of hours old, and I'm like, oh, this is a funny meme.
Oh my god.
Yo! Who is this DJ?
The old man is swing trading over years at a time. And it's like, that's where the real money is made.
The answer is a permanent loss. With single-sided staking, you don't have to worry about impermanent loss.
But really, at the end of the day, it's just the matter of a macro market. It's just what happens.
If you're aware, if you're disciplined, you can hone that into further financial growth.
Financial freedom, so we can actually live life and not have to be constantly living paycheck to paycheck. I mean, that's the ultimate goal, more or less, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, crypto degenerates, ducks and squirrels, welcome to this here special episode of the DGen Roundtable. My name is Will Stevenson. I'll be your host for tonight. I am joined by my good friend, Agent J. Agent J is the show's great value technical analyst. For those of you guys that don't know who we are, again, my name is Will Stevenson. I'm an iron worker. I travel around the United States building TV towers, and in my free time, I like to talk cryptocurrency and self-improvement to degenerates such as yourselves. Agent J, as I said earlier, is our show's technical analyst. He likes to go through the charts and run through the numbers and show people the RSIs and the Fibonacci's and all the cool stuff. And he's also a whiz at not only doing market trends and market analysis, but self-improvement, fitness, all sorts of other things. So welcome to our stream tonight. I actually have some pretty interesting news.
Let's do it.
So I made this thumbnail kind of last minute because I had no idea what the fuck to do for thumbnails, and I was like, man, I don't know what to cover for news. I remember there was a meme one time about like, oops, all shrimp tails for a breakfast cereal, and so I just decided to run with that for our meme for tonight. And then I asked ChatGPT to pull up some interesting news about what's going on in shrimp technology lately, and I didn't expect anything of substance, but as it turns out, there's actually like for those of you guys that are familiar with IoTex. It was a cryptocurrency that started a long time ago. It's called the Internet of Things. It's basically like tracking of real life stuff and putting all that data on blockchain and all that sorts of stuff. So they're big into cameras and sensors and like Ring doorbells and things of that nature. They don't actually do anything with Ring, but when I was looking up what's new in the shrimp culture, it turns out that IoTex is using like water temperature and salinity and like all sorts of aquatic measurements to help shrimp farmers farm more shrimp and things. So what started out as a silly meme has actually turned into something quite real. So shout out to IoTex. I don't know any of that cryptocurrency. I don't think that they do very well as far as the price actions go, but yeah, that's what's new and exciting in the world of shrimp tech, folks. So there you go. There's some shrimp news for you. And Agent J, broski, what's new and exciting with you? How are you doing, bro?
I am doing excellent. I am pretty much 100% recovered from the very bad fever that I had. I believe it was last week was the worst of it. And then I spent basically the entire prior week recovering, but it seems I'm pretty much close to 100%. Performance at the gym is pretty much back at 100%. Voice is 100% back. Still got a little bit of a congestion, but it's nothing too crazy. Back to working on the business. It was a good week of sales, so that's always good because more dry powder. And then in terms of crypto, it's the same old. I've also gotten back to streaming over the week, so streamed quite a handful of times during the pre-market open streams over at our Telegram channel, and made a few more buys, man. And market's been pretty good to me.
Excellent.
Market's been pretty good to me as of recent because we made some good entries, man. We made some good entries.
Hell yeah, broski. I love to hear it. We love to hear the good entries, and we love to hear about what's working for the folks at home as well as for ourselves. Speaking of the folks at home, it's time for chat motherfucking shout outs, ladies and germs. One of the best parts of the show where we shout you out for chatting and talking with us. So starting from the very top, we are joined first and foremost by Mr. Moon-Pilled Rational Optics. What was the inspiration for this unholy Commodore combination? Commodore crustacean? I like how you made that rhyme, broski. I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but shout out to Moonfield Rational Optics, a very good real life friend of mine. Again, the inspiration was I needed to come up with a thumbnail and I needed to do it quick. And so I just thought of a meme and figured I would rip that off the internet and just throw it up on the DGen Roundtable. So there you go. Next up, we've got Funkmaster Hex. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening to you too, Mr. Funkmaster Hex.
What
Cheers to you. The Trailer Park Boys, Julian of the cryptocurrency and Hexico space. We've got Funkmaster Hex. Always raising a glass. We love to see it. Next up, a classic, Mr. Centurion 54X. What's up, Degens? Shout out to Mr. Centurion 54X being the dungeon master for our group's D&D session. I missed the one last night. So how did it go, Jay? What did I miss?
Centurion. So like we figured out pretty quickly that the reason why Centurion was leveling us up so fast was so that he could throw bigger, badder baddies at us, and he almost total party killed us yesterday. If not for a few very timely natural 20 rolls from your great value wizard, yours truly. remember how the last session we ended with you were casting heat metal on the god part, right? The relic. And Frigg the wizard, being ever curious, morbidly curious of anything magical, went up to this dead god's heart, and he's like, well, I'm just gonna touch it. And he goes into a trance, and then it sucks everybody into this fucking like black void. And so the entire party didn't even blink. They're like, yo, Frigg just got sucked into a black void. Let's jump in after it. That seems interesting. So everybody jumped in and followed. And then inside the void was the god who basically the heart belonged to. And he was like, yo, you gotta do me a favor. And if you do me this favor, go after this false prophet and destroy the other relic. And I'm going to save all your friends. Otherwise, you're probably not going to make it out of this black void. So long story short, we did the guy a favor. And
this is like
and the boss quest. The boss that Centurion threw at us almost killed us. Luckily, though, the pact that I made with this false deity basically gave me some like main character powers.
Okay.
Not without consequence. So we're gonna find out what happens, because every single time I use the special ability, it basically gave Frigg several levels of corruption. So what the levels of corruption will do for our wizard yet to be determined, but too many levels of corruption, probably not a good thing. But luckily, it was so crazy, bro. It was so crazy because I pulled it out like literally at the last minute. The dude had like 100 HP left. So 100 HP, for those people who don't know and don't play D&D, 100 HP is a long way to get to. So the fact that I double crit on the last like second, because everybody else was dead. It was me and Tristan left. The rest of the party, Dace went down twice. Bradley went down shortly thereafter, and then Cars tried to revive him. Cars got downed. So it was basically just me and Tristan left.
Holy shit, bro.
And Tristan was like at his last legs.
Tristan was the one. Tristan's the guy who wants all the trophies and just wants to kill and fight everyone all the time, right?
Yeah, he wants all the trophies. The trophies.
All right.
It was only me and him left. He was on death's door. And if I didn't pull that out of my ass, we would not have made it, because 100 HP is not an easy thing to chip at for a boss. And this guy was not shy about using his best moves, his legendary actions, like he wasn't shy about using them. So Centurion definitely almost killed us.
Damn, that's fucking hilarious. Okay, so he's just been leveling us up so that way he can throw the big daddy bosses at us. Oh,
yeah, so we're level 6, by the way, bro. So you got a few levels to add to your character sheet.
Okay.
Yeah.
God damn. Well, shout out to Centurion, greatest dungeon master I've ever seen. That's freaking cool. I've been learning a lot about D&D, by the way, just playing Baldur's Gate 3 with
Dace, right?
Yeah. So we've been practicing and training up. Damn, I can't believe I fucking missed that last night. Fucking A.
Dude, Centurion is so great as a DM because he very much rewards players for creativity.
Yeah.
So it makes the game a lot more fun because you're world building alongside him. Like there's some DMs that are very strict with their world building and you have to stay on the track that they set. So I like having DMs like Cars, like Centurion, who work with their players in the world building because that gets people more involved in the game. And D&D is basically, it's basically LARPing. It's live action role playing. It's exactly what it is, you know, so. Yeah. Be there next time, bro. You missed the damn session.
Damn it.
That's
well,
all right.
Excellent. All right. Well, shout out to Kenturian. And we're going to move right along with our chat shout outs. So next up, we've got Hexkin Lost in Asia. Will, stick to being a crypto expert. Thumbnails ain't your thing, bro. Yes, I agree. Thumbnails are not my thing. And I will do my best to be that crypto expert, sir. Absolutely. But shout out to you, Mr. Hexkin Lost in Asia. He only came for the intro. That's good. Some people are in it for the tech. Some people are in it for the intro. So it's good to see you, Mr. Hexkin Lost in Asia. Next up, we've got my good friend, Dr. Alan Chen, Your Health Unplugged. Happy Sunday, DGen. May the roof above us never fall down and the friends around us never fall out. Cheers. Cheers to you too, sir. I'll drink some sparkly water to that as soon as I'm done with these chat shout outs. But it's good to see you, Dr. Chen. Guys, go check him out at Your Health Unplugged over on YouTube. He's got a great YouTube channel where he tries to teach people how to unplug from this terrible modern medical industry that we are all sucked into every time we go to hospitals and have to deal with like the insurance system. It's horrible. Next up for the chat shoutouts, we've got Crypto Sloth rolling in. Yo. Speaking of doctors, we got the Dr. Sloth in the house, ready to pull everyone's teeth out. Good to see you, Dr. Crypto Sloth.
Good to see you, sir. Haven't seen you in the chat for quite a while, so it's good to see that you're doing well. Hope everything is well on your end, and you're pulling many teeth and preventing many cavities.
Yes.
Teaching the good old boys and gals to not just brush their teeth, but to floss and brush and mouthwash
and tongue scrape.
Tongue scrape is important because that's what a lot of bad breath people that don't scrape their tongues.
Oh yeah.
Good to see you, sir.
Yes, absolutely. It's good to see. He was actually I did a show with Dr. Allen the other day. I think it was I can't remember, but we did a I think it was actually last Sunday. Matter of fact, we did a campfire stories show because I couldn't think of anything else to do. And I was like, fuck, I guess I'm doing campfire stories. And Alan's like, yo, dude, I'll hop on. And so, excuse me, we were reading the news and doing campfire stories, and Sloth popped in. He was actually asking Dr. Allen some questions about like peptides and other cool things. So it was super awesome. Oh, what's this we got here also from? Yep, I always refer patients to Will for proper toothbrush storage.
Do you remember that reference, Will?
Yeah, man, because like I was driving and I remember like I have toothbrushes all over my fucking truck, man, because like you never know like when you're gonna need to reach out and fucking like scrape some. Like I hate the feeling of sugar on my teeth. Like when I like eat candy or I have some sort of like sweet something, like I can feel the sugar on my teeth, which are normally like nice and clean and polished and smooth or whatever. But as soon as I get like sugar on there, it like bugs the fuck out of me. So I don't like. So anyways, long story short, I've got toothbrushes all over my truck. And so Sloth popped on like while I was driving and I was like, oh shit. Then I like reached back behind me because I'm on the driver's side, reached back like past the suicide door, and in the cup holder of the suicide door, I fucking had the toothbrush. I was like ready to fucking rock and roll, bro. So, yep, he always refers to patients for proper toothbrush storage. So it's good to see you, Sloth. Welcome to the stream, broski. Next up for the chat shoutouts, we've got Amber Simon. Amber Simon says, hello, good to see you, Amber Simon. By the way, I saw you earlier in the DGen Roundtable fitness chat. So shout out to Amber. She's made some fantastic progress in her fitness journey and things. So it's good to see you, Amber Simon. Welcome to the stream.
Dude,
next up.
The story that Amber shared us, because me and Cass did a fitness update stream on Thursday for her.
Yeah,
Amber chimed in there with her progress. And long story short, Amber basically, I guess the main impetus for her starting out with her fitness journey was her primary care physician told her like, yo, you have like some kind of chronic disease that's TLDR is like really bad. It may kill you. It may not. And so she got a pretty bad diagnosis. And then she was like, well, that kind of sucks. I don't want that. And so she started on this fitness journey. And then her goal is to get into into the big 4-0 in the best shape of her life. And I think she shared that the last time she went to her physician, all the bad stuff basically went out. So it's like the best feeling in the world. Like, yo, you told me that this is like something that I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life. She was like, nah, bro, I'm not going to have that.
Yep.
So it was like a big fuck you to her physician.
That's fucking awesome, man. It's great to see people winning. I'm going to forward that message because I've only seldom spend time in the DGen rip table, but I'm going to forward that message to the wins in the community. So it's good to see that, Amber. Welcome. We're glad that we could have you on the stream with us tonight. And I'm forwarding your message into the DGen Roundtable wins community. By the way, for those of you guys who don't already know, y'all can hop on into the DGen Roundtable Telegram by scanning that QR code that's up there above Mr. Agent J over there, up on your camera right at the very top end of the corner. And it's good to see you, Amber. Welcome to the chat. Join the DGen Roundtable, guys, if you're not already in there. But next up in the chat shadows, we've got Mr. Hex Glenn rolling in saying, hey, what's up? Good to see you, Hex Glenn. Welcome to the stream. Glad that we could have you with us tonight. And I love that fucking pulse chain hat you got there, broski. That thing is kick ass. Next up for chat shoutouts, we've got Clintrons. What's good, DGen crew? What's good with you too, sir? Good to see you, Mr. Clintrons. Hoping you're having a great day there in the land down under. Good day and on ya, mate, as well. Next up, we've got Conspiracy Crypto. My good friend Ramon, a real life friend of mine. He runs a YouTube channel called Conspiracy Crypto, where he talks about like all the really cool like conspiracy theories, and then he also talks about cryptocurrency. He has on some super cool guests a lot of the time. Super great, awesome guy. Highly recommend you guys check his channel out. Super cool. And then finally, we'll finish up our chat shoutouts with Amber Simon giving us an update. She threw away all her medication and did it all straight homeopathic. That is fantastic. I love it. This is like perfect because, you know, medication, big pharma, all that stuff, they're just pushing product. They're just trying to sell you pills, and the pills all come with side effects. Then you got to get pills for the side effects. Then you got to change your lifestyle and do all sorts of crazy things. Homeopathic and lifestyle changes are probably the best way, you know, going in and hanging out with chiropractors like Dr. H, who teaches you how to like stand better and have better posture, so that way you can fix your spine over the long period of time, or going and, you know, like eating healthy and listening to Dr. Chen's nutrition advice and getting blood work done and learning how to maximize your preventative health. It's all freaking fantastic. So glad to see your progress, Amber, and that you threw away all the medication and did it all straight homeopathic. That's another fun one to shove into the doctor's faces.
Yeah. Being able to throw away all of your prescription drugs that may cure some things but give you all these other side effects is such a liberating feeling, bro. Like my in-laws are down like close to 40 pounds now. So they're like I saw my father-in-law Kevin the other day. He's down like 33 pounds when I last saw him. And this guy, dude, it looks like he lost an entire person. And he was already fairly muscular to begin with. And dude, this guy, he's former military. He was in the Army and then Air Force. This guy got some like massive fucking calves that I didn't realize before. But then once he started leading out, I was like, God dang, dude, you got like the size of freaking most people's regular thighs. What up, Bean?
What's up, Mr. Brendan?
What's up, boys? Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, bro. Good to see you.
Good to see you guys too. Started a little bit late. Got season tickets to Inter Miami to watch Lionel Messi, best soccer player of all time, and was rushing back to try to make the show. So here I am.
Nice. Well, you made it, bro. I see you're wearing what looks like, I don't know if that's a hockey shirt or a soccer shirt.
Soccer.
I'm guessing it's soccer.
This is an old school one. This one's from, I think, 2002. This is Landon Donovan 2022 World Cup jersey.
Okay, excellent.
Not worn, just like replica.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's good to see you, broski. Welcome to the stream. We're talking about like health and homeopathic fitness and stuff. We just ran through chat shoutouts.
Is this healthy? This is a double quarter pounder with cheese from McDonald's.
Oh yeah, bro. It's as healthy as shit.
I love double quarter pound, bro. So my personal nutritional paradigm is I don't moralize food. Me and Cassie were talking about this. I don't moralize food. I don't say healthy or unhealthy, bad or good. I hate moralizing food.
Limits.
There's only bad habits, man. It's only bad habits. As long as you can fit it within your own nutritional paradigm, if you're staying within the laws of calorie balance and you're hitting all of your nutritional needs, like your micronutrients, your macronutrients, and whatever you're eating is not giving you any kind of chronic pains, illnesses, and you're thriving on it, your energy's up, and your quality of life is up. Like who am I to tell you just because you're not eating the carnivore diet that what you're doing is bad, or that you're eating carbohydrates that what you're doing is bad, bro? It's like I've been in the industry for more than 2 decades, and I've tried every diet under the sun, every nutritional paradigm under the sun, every single freaking fitness regimen under the sun, and I've gotten jacked and healthy and doing every single one of them. There's way more than one. There's way more than one way to skin a cat, and I so dislike when people try to moralize food. So yes, the double quarter pounder with cheese is good, sir.
I'll say though, because I have a
way of saying that.
Because I have a gluten allergy, I can't eat their bread. So I end up using my bread at home, which is far healthier than what you get at McDonald's. So from a bread standpoint, from a carb standpoint, I'm getting a much healthier standpoint there, but I'm still eating their, delicious burger. So for me, it's a win-win.
Yes,
but
sir.
Still don't eat it that much. For me, it's like everything in moderation.
Balance,
it's okay to have like quick dinner tonight. I was out, didn't eat stadium food because also kind of shitty. But
those are the best, man. You see some of these stadium foods, they're like, how did you come up with that contraption, bro? I'll pay $20 for that.
Yo, there was a park where I saw they had a cheeseburger inside a coffee milkshake. Like it was in a skewer inside the milkshake, and I'm like, what are they even doing? Like they're coming up with some wild things out there, but it's fun to see.
Excellent. I had heard somewhere that the quarter pounders from McDonald's are the only like thing on the menu that are 100% pure beef, and the other stuff has like a ton of additives and a ton of other stuff in it. So like if you're gonna pick anything from McDonald's, I always go with the double quarter pounder. I think that's the best one, and I too pick off the. I also pick off the I take off the bottom bun and leave the top one because it's got all the condiments and things on it. But I'm right there with you, bro.
So they also don't freeze it, and it's the only one that's cooked fresh 100% of the time.
Yep.
Hey, do you guys remember? Is it McDonald's or is it a different fast food chain that they're now switching to beef tallow again, like cooking their stuff in beef tallow?
That was not McDonald's. That was not McDonald's. That was Smash Burger.
Hell yes. Everything tastes better cooked in beef tallow anyway.
So it should I think everything should go back to beef tallow. So I have a deep fryer at my house, and I was using peanut oil, but I'm switching to beef tallow for everything that I fry as well. Nothing fried is healthy, right? You have to be in moderation. But the worst thing that you can do is cook in some of these shitty oils, because those oils are awful for you. Right? So if you're gonna eat bad food, you might as well eat the least of the bad food, right? Like there is a big difference with fried food from the type of oils that you use, in my opinion. And Jay, you're the expert on this, but the study that I've looked at, like I've tried to cut out as many of the seed oils. Like it's not going to be 100% of the time, right? Like it's in everything, but I've really tried to cut back on things that have seed oils in them.
Yeah. I don't have a very strong opinion on it. Again, like I don't try to moralize food. The seed oil thing, I think RFK is doing a good job with helping Americans transition from like whatever they were doing prior to now. I think he's focused a bit too much on the details. I think I'm a broad picture guy. So it's like teach people about portion control, teach people about calorie balance, teach people about the importance of protein. Teach people the importance of being able to read the nutrition label so that like the serving size, right? It's like those low-hanging fruit. I think when you start talking about seed oils and like peptide, like all these other different like micronutrients and stuff like that, do they have a place? Absolutely. Are they important? Absolutely. But it's like people when they're like, yo, I'm gonna go to the gym, I got this entire supplement stack, I paid like $1,000 for it because this thing says it's gonna give me 1,000 extra turns on my muscle gains in like the next month. But then your training is shitty, your cardio is shitty, your sleep is shitty, your stress management is shitty. You're not consistent. You can't build momentum. It's like you focus on the last 1%, which is the supplement side of things, and you miss all of the low-hanging fruit. So I tend to get people to focus on the low-hanging fruit and not so much in the details. like is overconsumption of seed oils could potentially be harmful for some demographic of people. Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm not denying that. But again, low-hanging fruit, bro. Focus on the big picture, and then if you find out down along the line that consuming seed oils, like with you and gluten, Dace and gluten, if you find out down along the line that kind of stuff like doesn't interact well with you, it gives you some kind of like bad allergy, or like in when it's regards to like gluten insensitivity, right? That thing can really mess your digestive tract up. If it's like that, then yeah, throw it out. But for most people, man, like
I mean, look, I agree, but also like we're the only country that allows a lot of these ingredients in our foods.
Yeah.
They've already been banned in Europe. They've been banned in Canada. They're not used in South America. And guess what? The foods that are going to these countries are from the exact same factories that are sending them to the United States with all of this BS in it. So it's like, it's not that they aren't already making it, right? It's that we're the only country that allows it. So I don't disagree with what you're saying. Like, we need to come with two approaches, but what's the easiest thing to do? Cut out things that every other country has already cut out because they're clearly bad, right? And that's also, in my opinion, a bit of low-hanging fruit. I'm not saying seed oils, because that's actually a lot more challenging. But the dyes, some of the fake ingredients, like, for example, take McDonald's, right? I just went to McDonald's. In the United States, I can't eat McDonald's French fries. Once they stopped cooking them in beef tallow, they started putting in this ingredient called real beef flavor. Okay? How does real beef flavor have gluten in it? How does real beef flavor have milk in it? Okay, so it's like, it's not real beef flavor. It's this chemicals that they're calling real beef flavor in quotations. But guess what? That's actually, all of that is illegal in Canada and in Europe, but it's not illegal here in the United States.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of things that we've kind of let slip through the cracks that would help. Would it help us to the fullest degree? Like eating healthy, portion control? No, that's going to be a lot bigger. But there's no reason not to cut these things out that everyone else has already done, because they've done the research and it's clearly unhealthy. Not unhealthy, in some cases actually toxic, right? It's not just a thing of unhealthy, but toxicity.
So what I say low-hanging fruit, I think I also say that within the context of what are some policy that you could actually effectuate. Educational policies are much easier to effectuate than you going up against some of these very massive global companies like the pharmaceutical industries, like the food industries, to take X, Y, and Z food item drug off the shelf. Now, is that an admirable pursuit? Yeah, absolutely, because we know that there's a lot of shenanigans that go on there. Is it a pursuit that you can effectuate within a given period of time that will have immediate improvements in people's overall quality of life, like today, right? I'm also all about like actionable things today, right now. Those things, like I said, is it admirable? Is it possible? Yeah, but that's like so much further down along. That's an uphill battle that you have to fight versus teaching people the simple things: calorie control, macronutrient importance, stress management, sleep management, portion sizing, right? These are things that these are actionable that people can, it's easy for them to understand. You start talking to people about like the chemical components of seed oils and shit like that, their eyes are going to glaze over. That's just in one ear and out the other. So that's how I also look at it, right? When I speak about these kinds of things, right? Within the context of what are the things that are actionable, the things that you can effectuate immediately, and then things that are also important, but they're going to be much more of an uphill battle, going to take a little bit more time, and it's probably something that you should not focus on as much as like the bigger picture things, right? So that I also come at it from that point of view.
What's also interesting, Jay and Will, because you guys work out, because you guys eat healthier than I do, generally speaking. One of the things that I noticed, so before my Achilles injuries, and I was in the gym, I was a gym rat. I was in the gym 5 days a week, 2 hours a day, 4 to 5 days a week, 2 hours a day. And what I found out is when I created this healthy habit, going to the gym and actually trying to work on my body, I realized that the food that I ate was either going to help this time that I put in or hurt the time that I put in. And so me creating that positive habit not just made me think that I need to change my diet and desire to, but my body also craved foods that were healthier. I would go to a bar and I would still have some gin, right? Which is low calories, no sugar, no carbs. But instead of having a burger, I was craving like grilled chicken salad. Like I ate almost no red meat. Not that red meat is bad, right? But like my body was craving different nutrients, and everyone's body is a little different, as you know, Jay. But it's like one healthy habit starts to stack and create other healthy habits because everything is a loop.
Momentum.
And that's what's really important. Like focus on one area of your life and make that healthy. And that's going to actually affect every other area of your life. By the way, it also helped me cut down on my liquor intake because my body was, again, craving healthier things. I was actually drinking less. And that wasn't even by desire. That was just what my body was craving. And I say that as I pour myself a nice little glass of whiskey. So, by the way, I'm walking for the first time in about 8 months. And
hell yeah, bro.
I'm hoping
okay?
I'm hoping to get back to this healthy gym habit here in the near future, as long as I can stay on the right track. So I'm looking to make big changes as well.
Hell yeah, man. That's freaking awesome.
Love to hear it. Yeah.
Yep. Love to hear it. Absolutely. Oh yeah. By the way, we've got some more chat shout outs to go through. The Chad Donnerschwanz has joined us. Steak and Shake is actually going back to beef tallow. And
Yes.
I love that.
I forgot about that. That was the one. So there were two that I heard. Smash Burger, which is a burger chain, which is actually very good, by the way. Steak and Shake I've never had, but yeah.
Yep. Buffalo
Yo,
Wild Wings.
Doc,
Buffalo
we just
Wild
had
Wings as well.
Yeah, Doc, we just had beat-ups the other day. Me and the wife just said, because the third Thursday of the third Friday of every month is like wing night for me and her. So yeah, we got beat-ups the last Friday, man.
A lot of people
love beat-ups.
hate on beat-ups, but as a wing fanatic, I think it's pretty good. Like it's not bad. And Jay, do you guys do takeout? Or do you go eat in?
Oh, we take out. We take out.
Okay. So there's a sauce that you can technically only get on takeout. Like it's not on the menu if you're in sitting down in the store. It's called Golden Fire. I don't know how spicy you like your sauce, but Golden Fire to me is by far the best sauce at Buffalo Wild Wings. It's so good.
That's right. The wife is a big fan of spicy foods. Me, not so much, but
it's on the spicier side. It's on the spicier side for the sauces on their menu. But it also has a really robust flavor and a little bit of hint of sweet. So sometimes the sweet gets a little too much for me, but it's a really good balance. But it is spicy. It's really good.
Thank you for the recommendation, sir. We will definitely try that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we got Steak and Shake. We've got Buffalo Wild Wings. Outback has started to incorporate beef fat into the preparation of certain food items, such as a blooming onion, to achieve a more authentic taste. And then also Popeyes has updating its frying practice to include beef tallow, aimed at enhancing the taste and quality of its fried offering. So that's from Florida today. Popeyes doesn't say that they're totally switching, but they are updating. And so that's pretty cool. So, and I've got all this stuff from Chat GPT, and it's just,
I appreciate the move, right? Like, look, if Robert Kennedy didn't start the conversation, these companies wouldn't have started to do this, right? Like, so you have to start the conversation and then get people to make change. So, I think these companies are seeing that people want real ingredients in their food, that a lot of the population desires that, even if it's not everybody. And they wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't good for business, right? And so I think that's a positive.
Yeah. Yeah, man. God bless that man. Because, like, again, there are some things that I disagree with him about, but the fact that he's made fitness and nutrition a focal point of conversation within American politics is a very good thing, right? And the fact that he walks the walk and he talks the talk. The man is such great shape. Like, he's in better shape than a lot of 20-year-olds, bro. That guy's out there doing like full range pull-ups. I'm like, bro, like most 20-year-olds can't even do a half repetition on a pull-up, let alone 10 sets full range at like 65 years, however old he is, bro. It's insane. Man.
He's getting after it. There's a quote from the New York Post that says that fast food chain Steak and Shake says that they've RFK'd their fries and are opting for healthier cooking methods. So that's freaking awesome. They've RFK'd their fries. Good for you guys. Steak and Shake. We love this. And man, like I used to go to Steak and Shake all the time when I was working over in it was Topeka, Kansas. There's a Steak and Shake like right next to the interstate. So that was a big part of my tower climbing meal prep over there. I like getting their hot dogs over there. I'm a hot dog fanatic. But we got some quick little chat shout outs to do. We're joined by Contour Enki Tenzin, liked evening, everyone. Good to be listening. Good to see you, Condor Enki Tenzin. I had to like read that a couple times before I knew how to pronounce that. So I like your name there, broski. They were also joined by another good real life friend of mine, Mr. Moonmud. Good to see you. Let's go. It's good to see you. Is Condor Enki Tenzin? Is that from something, Jay? Am I missing something here?
I am not actually sure. I love the last name though. Tenzin. That's a catchy name. I love that.
Yeah, my anime like vague recollection senses tingling. Yeah, and he also shouts out the chicken salad, so that's a good example with you, Mr. Brendan. Brendan, I'm curious whenever you come back, if you know what your blood type is, because the switching from the red meat to the chicken meat reminds me of like the book that we read, Eat Right for Your Type, and what generally benefits a lot of blood B type folks. So either if Brendan, if you're type B or type AB, yeah, okay, that was going to be my next guess. Is type B or type AB? That's like that makes kind of sense there. So that's pretty cool, bro. Yeah, I like it.
Interesting.
Excellent. All right, so that is the end of chat shoutouts. That's we've talked quite a bit about some food stuff. Mr. Agent J, I want to toss it on over to you if you're ready to run us through some technical analysis.
Oh yeah, I forgot this was a crypto show, bro.
Yeah, it is a crypto show talking about shrimp, talking about IoTex, talking about the fast food chains and all sorts of fun, cool like health stuff. Hey, it's great though, man. Like, yeah, it's a cool ass show. You guys, by the way, while I wait for you to get that screen share up, I'm gonna go ahead and do the old what's it called? I gotta find the freaking link for sharing. Normally I have it pulled up nice and easy. But for the folks at home, if you guys aren't already a member of the DGen Roundtable, then what you need to do is you need to go to t.me/DRT join now. Come on over and get into our Telegram group where you guys can check out all the conversations that we have all the time. It's a super fun, fancy, awesome place. For those of you guys that are watching live or watching on the replay, we got a cool little QR code down right there next to Mr. Agent J. Or for those of you guys that are watching live right now, you can just click on that link that I've popped up in the live chats. But yeah, those of you guys on replay gang, just go up to your little URL at the top of your screen, type in t.me/DRT join now. And we've got a response real quick from Mr. Condor before we hop on over to this technical analysis. He says he made up the name Tenzin, inspired by Japanese name Enki, just an alias, and LLLL. I like that. That's a good name,
that makes
bro.
sense, because Tenzin is actually what stood out to me. You know, as someone that studied Japanese for a couple of years when I was younger.
Same. Up to what level did you get to, Bean? 1, 2, 3, 4?
I don't know how you quantify that, but I took it for 2 years at a college when I was in high school.
So that's probably Jap 2, because usually if you take a language,
I guess Jap 2 is what they called it. Yeah,
it scales up to the year. So Japanese 3 and 4 is probably when you got into like you started having to do calligraphy and kanji, like just being literate.
I'm out. I did not do kanji at all, and I'm out. Look, bro, like katakana, hiragana, and like I'm sorry, like I know I'm not gonna be reading a Japanese newspaper, like. Unless I'm living in Japan, kanji to me isn't really super necessary. But I respect the people that know. I don't know if you guys know this, Jay. You probably do. If you want to read a Japanese newspaper, you need to know 10,000 characters of kanji.
That's correct. To be reasonably literate in Japan, 10,000 kanji is like the bare minimum.
Jesus.
I think I'm with you there, Bean. If your goal is to just speak, I think knowing the kanji is less important. But most people that take the language, they probably want to either work in the industry or they want to travel. You might not be reading a newspaper, but you're probably going to be reading the signs when you visit Japan, and knowing a lot of the basic kanji is probably important. But I think if you're speaking, if you don't get into 10,000 kanji and like you just get like the bare minimum, I think that's totally
the minimum. Fine. Yeah, and I would love to take Japanese again in the future. It's actually a beautiful language, and just like their culture, it's very structured. Right? Like there's not many rules. There's not really a lot of exemptions of the rules. And so speaking to me, and it was like the structure was quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The letters is tough, right? Like katakana, hiragana, and
Mm-hmm.
kanji. So for people that don't know, katakana is for non-native Japanese words. Hiragana is for native Japanese words, and kanji is a system derived from the Chinese character system.
Yeah. Speaking on like the hard lines being and the structure, you talk about you talk about the kanji, right? And when you start doing calligraphy or just like writing out the kanji in general, they are very strict with the stroke patterns.
Yes,
my
very.
sensei was such a G. She knew if like there was like, let's say the stroke pattern required you to go from like up to down, she'd be able to do if you went down to up. She'd be able to tell the order of your strokes depending on how thick was the starting
versus the ending. Yeah,
the starting stroke and the ending stroke, the directionality of it. It was insane to be able to tell, like, to be able to scrutinize that in that level of detail. It was insane. And she would dock you points if you got the stroke order wrong.
You know, so the reason I got into Japanese is we started hosting exchange students from Japan when I was 9 years old every summer. And they would allow the host family's children to go to camp. So it would be like 2 to 3 weeks in the summer. And the American students would go to like a Japanese class with a Japanese teacher, a sensei. And then the Japanese students, the exchange students would go to an American teacher. So you'd learn basic Japanese culture, some of their art forms like
flower arrangement.
Flower arrangement. I don't know why I can't think of the name.
Tea ceremony.
At the moment. Origami, like all those things. And so I just like from a young age really had kind of an in-depth knowledge of the culture, and I kind of grew up with it. And I remember even at like 10 years old, you're going to like Japan camp, as we called it, for the first time, and they're like the sensei's like upset at you if you do the wrong brush stroke. And they're teaching you like obviously just basic like katakana or hiragana mostly, maybe a character here or there, but it's like they were very strict about it, and I did appreciate that in hindsight, because that is what they're built on, right? Yeah. That's what their entire culture and system is built on. But it was a great experience, and so that's how I kind of learned my basic Japanese. And then when I got into high school, I was like, I want to further my knowledge here, and I'm now very weak because I haven't kept up with it. But it's a phenomenal language and phenomenal culture, just great people. I've never been to Japan, but I will be going soon. That is for sure.
Hell yeah. I like it. I remember we had a Japanese exchange student a couple times. My family did. I don't remember a whole lot about it other than they brought those little toys where it's like a string and a ball, and you have to like catch it on like a little cup thing, or you like catch it on like a spike. That's like the only thing. And then they made like Japanese pancakes. That's the only thing I remember. That's cool as hell.
Okonomiyaki. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right, guys, we're going to transition on over into some technical analysis on the subject of disciplines and cool things. So, Agent J, I'm going to bring up your screen share. We got it right here, and then change the background. And whenever you're ready, broski, she's all yours.
Yes, sir. Okay, so first and foremost, we're going to just do a quick update on the Lucas cycles. We have now narrowed down our potential scenarios to 2, right? We were working with a few potential alternative scenarios for our 60-day cycles over the past month, because this cycle low here kind of threw everybody for a loop, especially after the massive move up. But because of the degree of pump, one might say, it eliminated a few of the more bearish scenarios. So right now I am playing with 2 main scenarios. My main scenario is that we do have, as unlikely as it was, we do have a left translated 84-day cycle extended with a high here on day 7, and we are now in a new 60-day cycle with a high here on day number 18. So the field is once again reset for both the bulls and the bears in terms of which way can the rest of the 60-day cycle play out. Is it going to be a right translated? Is it going to be a left translated? We have now opened it up once again for interpretation. And the bulls are now once again in square control. Now, if you guys notice here, I'm going to go over a little bit of a review. So the blue line is 50-day moving average, and then the yellow is a 200-day moving average. We have broken up strongly above the 200-day moving average, which is basically textbook for whenever this here happens, which is the death cross. You get a dump heading into the death cross. You get a counter trend rally on the other side of it above the 200-day moving average. The unique thing about this particular rally above the 200-day after your death cross is that this has been the strongest showing for Bitcoin in our current 4-year cycle. Not only did we close the week way above the 200-day moving average, we have also started to build a ton of good momentum above it. We are currently sitting at about $4,000 above the 200-day moving average. I mean, when you go back a little bit here in time, right? This was back here on the tail end of 2024, just post Japanese carry trade. I mean, take a look at this. During the dump into the death cross, it happened right here. Right, we rallied and got rejected above the 200-day moving average once and twice before finally breaking out above it. Look at the prior times when we broken above it. We could barely maintain momentum, and we spent maybe like 3 days or so in total with daily closes above it and got rejected squarely back down soon after. All right, so the retests of the 200 were much weaker during prior times in our current 4-year cycle. Let's go a little bit further back in time here in 2023. Take a look at it here when it happened once again. All right, dump into the death cross, a counter trend rally above to the other side of 200. Here, we didn't even spend a daily close above it. All right, we got stiffly rejected once, twice, and then back down to retest again before coming back up and breaking out strongly here late October of 2023 into that really nice rally into our new all-time high before the halving occurred in 2024. And so fast forward back into the future, you can see now, right, you have some references as to just exactly how strong this move above 200-day has been post the death cross. And so what can we expect during the remainder of this 60-day cycle? Well, regardless of whether we're going to look at this primary scenario, now this is my primary scenario. I know my colleagues like Benny and my mentor Charlie and Z might have a different scenario. This is just my personal bias. We're actually going to go over the alternative count as well. But at the very end of the day, they are very similar in terms of what they're going to do. So what my ideal scenario is that we actually make another high up here, probably sometime around next week. We have a lot of major market fundamental news coming on next week, which I will share with you in a few minutes. So ideally, we get another move up here, taking out the day 18 high, probably somewhere around day 23, 25. Right, fake everybody out, think that the rally is going to continue, complete that 5-wave impulsive move, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 into the upside, ideally actually around 96.9K, right? Because that's the big area of major horizontal resistance, that naked monthly point of control. So ideally, that's where we get rejected, come back down, fake everybody out, think that we're still in a, we are still going to dump and take out our prior cycle low. But instead, Bitcoin and price action does exactly what it does during periods of time when we've had the death cross in a bull market, and that is come back down and form a higher low. During the entirety of our 4-year cycle, every single time we have come back down below the 200 after the death cross, we have always formed multiple higher lows. It's never been a lower low, at least speaking within the context of this 4-year cycle. So ideally, that's exactly what we would do again. The pattern holds. And like me and Z always say, we don't assume that a pattern will break until it actually does. And so you fake everybody out, grab some liquidity here because people FOMO buy. Maybe we get close to $100,000. Wouldn't that be a hoot, right? Get FOMO into $100,000, grab the liquidity at around 100K, get rejected, come back down, make everybody think that we are in a bear market and then we're going to sweep the low. Bounce here, grab liquidity there, come back up, get rejected, right? Because this is probably going to follow. This is the 200-day extension, probably going to follow somewhere along those lines. Get rejected once again around there, come back down, retest the new trend line, and form a higher low once again before finally breaking out of the 200-day convincingly into most likely sometime in the middle of this year, maybe late May, early June, right into the tail end of the 60-day cycle. And what that basically means is we're going to have a right translated cycle with a mid-cycle low, probably sometime around the second week of May, and head into the 60-day cycle, break out at the very tail end, and maybe head into an extended right translated cycle for Bitcoin, right? That's the bullish scenario. Now, the bearish scenario obviously is very simple. You lose a 200, you sweep the low here, and that would actually be very bad news for the market, because if you sweep the low here, that usually only happens during bear markets, right? In regards to not making higher lows after a retest of the 200-day during that death cross. Right, that usually happens only during bear markets, which we actually went over those scenarios over the last few weeks when we went over the death cross in detail. All right, so the bearish scenario is not so good, and it's basically very simple. You would take out this low, and we would keep looking for lower lows heading into the tail end of that 60-day cycle. Now, the alternative count, and I would like to share this because this one makes sense. Right, this is the count that Charlie and others are playing with, is that we have another failed cycle. Right, we have a failed cycle, which means we create a mid-cycle low that is lower than our prior cycle low, but we do have a right translated cycle here on day 45. Ideally, same story here, would make another lunge up, probably around day 50, 55, create another high, and then come back down, creating a higher low for the 60-day cycle before continuation to the upside. The only reason why I don't like the failed cycle scenario, one reason that Charlie gave and one reason that Benny gave is that they don't want to consider this low here as a real low because it was a tariff related dumping event. And that, even though that's a reasonable thing to say, what I don't want to stop the conversation there, because you guys know that me as an analyst, right? You guys know my stance on this. The chart, right? The price action and all of the lines, all the squigglies that you see in the chart are basically just mathematical representations of people's emotions, right? They buy and sell based on emotions, based on news. And so if I were to say that I'm not going to count this into my analysis just because it was Trump-related news or tariff-related news, then why should I count any other price action related to tariff news, right? This high over here. Should we not consider that into our analysis because it was a fake news event? People said that they were going to pause tariffs and then they were going to dump. Not really happened, right? Where does it stop and where does it end? Like which news events am I going to consider into my analysis and which ones am I not going to consider into my analysis? And so I don't like cherry picking those kinds of things. So no, just because, so this is my personal opinion. I'm not saying that Charlie or Benny or Z are wrong for thinking that way. I just say I take into consideration everything. If this low over here was caused by tariff-related news, so be it. It's part of the market. The news is part of the market. The feelings and the buying because of the feelings and the FUD and then the fear, the uncertainty, and doubt are all part of market structure. They are all part of buying and selling. And so I am going to consider every single one of them into my analysis. So that's just a personal opinion, but now you know my stance on this particular failed scenario, right? I don't like considering a failed scenario because those are already very unlikely to begin with, super low probabilities, and I'm not going to assume the lowest probability scenario until all other scenarios have failed, and not all scenarios have failed. So that's just my personal stance on that. All right. You guys already know my bullish stance. So if you were to make another high, then expect a high to at least that daily naked point of control at around 96 point. Sorry, monthly naked point of control around 96.9K. Ideally, we head up to around 100,000 because psychological area of resistance would be nice, right? That would be my perfect scenario before eventually coming down and retesting some of these key areas of major support. And my goodness, do we have a lot of horizontal support here for Bitcoin. So first and foremost, all right, let's assume that the cycle high is in currently, and we're going to go and retest some of these key areas of support to the downside. Then ideally, this is what I would like to see for Bitcoin. If we're working with an impulse, yeah. Oops, not that one. That's on the 1 hour. Let's go on the larger time frames. Impulse on the 4 hour. Here we go. Let's make an assumption that we don't get another high for that wave 5, and let's assume that the high is in here, right? So we're actually going to move some of this. We're actually going to move some of these, right? Let's say that 3 is there, 4 is there, and then 5 is there. Unlikely, again, right? Unlikely. I'm a probability-based analyst, probability-based trader. The likelihood that your wave 2 is significantly longer in time than your wave 4, like this is a very shallow wave 4, is very, 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 very unlikely. Right? So I'm assuming at least another high. But again, let's make the assumption that the impulse is finished and we are waiting. Jesus, cannot speak of the English today. And for a bigger retracement to the downside. Then if we take a Fibonacci retracement from the very start to the end of that move, the very common retracements for the wave 2 are as follows. The 382 is an uncommon target, and ideally, we would make our way down into this box of support here, in between the 0.5 and the 0.786 Fibonacci, because these are your more common areas of retracement in terms of major fibs when we're talking about a wave 2. The 886 always have to keep out on your invalidations. The 886 is your hard invalidation. If you hit the 886, then on the balance of probabilities, you're probably going to sweep the $74,000 low, and we look for lower prices. But we're talking about the bullish scenario, right? So there's your main box of support for price action to head down to for a major move towards your wave 2. Now, let's turn on our points of controls. Like I mentioned, we have a ton, right? Even before we get to that box, we have a ton of horizontal support on the way down before we even get down to those major fibs. But if we do make our way down there, right, you have a weekly naked point of control sitting at around 84,580, another weekly naked point of control sitting at 78.5, and then a daily naked point of control sitting at 79.6K. So a lot of very, very strong horizontal support along with major fibs to make up the bulk of that support area for price. And so if the move is over and I am looking for a bigger retracement down, then these areas are my primary targets for price to find support in, and where I would also start considering taking shots again at Bitcoin. As it currently stands, I got my position a little bit lower, so that position is in profit. I am not looking to add to any new positions just because I think that we are getting close to the end of this bullish structure. All right, so there you have it. You have your price targets for both the upside and you have your price targets to the downside. You have your invalidations as well. So I will leave you with that for today's analysis. If you want a little bit more detail, right, you're just going to have to catch a Telegram stream that we have at 7:45 a.m. MST Monday through Friday, because that's when we go over the lower structures to find out what could potentially happen next. But on our Sunday flagship show, I like to keep things fairly high level. Just stay within the daily and the 4-hour charts if we're going to go on the smaller time frames, because I don't want to bore anybody with the details, and this is probably already too much detail for most folks to begin with. So we'll just leave it at that. You got your price targets to the upside, price targets to the downside, major areas of support and resistance, and your invalidations as well for the move, and your 60-day cycle count. So we should leave it with that. If we got any questions, comments, concerns, or if Bean and Will has any comments on chart, otherwise we can leave it at that.
No, I think you know that, Jay. I will say that about a week ago, I put all of my dry powder, all of my remaining dry powder that I was holding for a few weeks into the market. I put it into Pulse Chain and I put it into PWBTC.
Oh,
bro, I don't know if you look at that chart recently. It got like a 2x
nice.
in a week. It was
Very
crazy.
cool.
I did not expect it. I just saw that coin was depressed. It's the one P copy that I actually like. And it's done very well for me in the ecosystem. So every once in a while you get lucky, and that was a lucky one for me.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah,
we've got some appreciation from the audience as well. Mr. Condor Enki Tenzin says, "Thank you for doing your thing." So that's to you, Mr. Agent J.
Thank you, sir. You're
reminds me
very
of
welcome.
1010. I think that's where that's
1010 from
familiar.
Naruto?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Well, excellent. I don't have anything to add to the technical analysis. I am learning, like, every time you do your 60-day cycle description, it's like, holy smokes, it's starting to make more and more sense every time. So I like it. And
Repetition,
that
man.
one crazy cycle being what was it, 84 days long? The last one,
Yeah.
by your reckoning, it's like that's not usual as far as I can tell. That's pretty pretty out there, balls to the wall. But like I like what you were talking about there, that the you got to take in all the data and not like cherry pick the data, because it all gets reflected.
Yeah, because it's all part of market structure, right? Like the market is made up of people, and if I'm gonna cherry pick major events that reflect on the price because I don't like how it makes the chart look, then I'm like, that's a feelings based analysis, right? I don't like how it makes the chart look. Well, who gives a shit if you don't like the way that it makes a chart look? It's part of the market, so consider it.
Yeah, I mean, it's there. It got recorded. People sold. People
sold. People bought.
Yeah. Very good. Well, I've got nothing else in the world of charts and things. Just for the folks at home, again, reminder: if you guys want to stick around, like what Agent J was saying, if you hop on over into our Telegram over at t.me/DRT join now. Agent J does a lot of these streams a lot of the time, and he has been on it lately. So you guys can check him out. He's normally streaming you said, Agent J, you stream at 7:45 in the morning Arizona time, and I know Arizona doesn't abide by this stupid bullshit daylight savings stuff. So
anywhere between 7:45 8 a.m. MST is when I usually start the streams. We usually go for about anywhere between 30 minutes on the shorter end. Sometimes we go really long, like an hour and a half. Depending on time permits and however much information I want to share with the chat, whether there's like a lot of major news going on that's affecting price action. So it varies, but anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes on average is usually the streams.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, coolio. All right, so that covers our technical analysis. There was something we were talking about in the green room before the show started. Do you want to give the folks at home a little bit of that super secret sauce? I mean, the move is already made as far as like price action and cool things, but I've got some cool history pulled up on it as well. Should we tell the folks at home about pudgy penguins?
Yeah, let me go ahead and share my chart here again. I'm just gonna share my pudgy chart. So I'm going to turn off all these lines, right? And I just want people to focus on this. So from the lows, you guys already know, I was very upfront with this. I am a big fan of pudgy penguins. I am shilling you my bags and my bias, my favorite NFT project, my favorite meme project. From the lows, this thing has made over the weekend, mind you, that is a 300. So that's basically a 3.5x from the lows. Yeah.
Delicious.
Yeah, and out of also over the past week, we spoke about, so a lot of folks had some questions about potential entries into projects. So all of the main ones that we spoke about that I was really bullish on: Solana, Sui, Aerodrome, and Pengu in particular. Pengu is the best performer, but Solana is like almost like more than 50% off the lows. Sui is like more than 2x off the lows. Aerodrome made a crazy move. I think Aerodrome was like almost 2.5, 3x off the lows as well. So they're one of the better high cap performers in terms of the market. But out of all the ones that I spoke about, Pengu is the one that's doing well. Now, the reason for this move, obviously, it's a meme coin. It has much lower market cap than some of these things. Like from the lows, I think Pengu got down to about $250-300 million worth of market cap. So actually pretty decent market cap for a meme coin, right? We were speaking behind the green room about like how, like when Pepe was starting to make its run, we were talking to everybody about how, like, yo, if you wanna get Pepe at a pretty good valuation, buy anywhere between, like, it was currently back then it was still under $500 million market cap, because it's gonna get to at least $1 billion, right, in market cap. So we were like, yo, accumulate at under $1 billion, preferably under 500 million, and you're gonna lock in some good gains. And then Pengu hit that sweet spot, right, for memes as well. It was sitting at around 250, 300. So I was like, yo, let's start to accumulate, because this project, even though it's considered a meme, I don't consider Pengu a meme, right? And in particular, because Pengu started off as an IP, as an NFT project, right? Not as a meme. And the reason why I like this project in particular was because it completely threw the NFT narrative and NFT plan out the window. Pengu started making its run during the bear market, and it did extremely well throughout our current 4-year cycle, which is unheard of for most NFT projects. It's usually the accepted paradigm in crypto is that NFT and higher risk meme coins, even the meme coin narrative, out the window, right? People usually think the meme coins, the higher risk stuff, the NFTs, their time comes during the tail end of a bull market when people have money to throw around and they're feeling a little bit more degenerate, especially with NFTs, because NFTs by their nature are extremely illiquid, right? It's really hard to find a buyer for something that has a floor price of like 30 fucking Ethereum, right? It's really fucking hard to find a buyer when you're selling somebody that has an average floor price of 30 Ethereum. And I think at the peak, the floor price for the Pudgy Penguin NFTs were like 35, 40 freaking Ethereum. It's crazy. And they were doing that at like during 2023, late 2024. Right, so they threw the NFT timelines completely out the window. That's number one. Number two, what I really like, and this is why, if I'm gonna put like significant, I have again, full disclosure, I have an irresponsible amount of money in Pengu, like an irresponsible fucking amount. Talking about from a conservative investor, right? Irresponsible amount in Pengu.
No, Pengu is separate from Pudgy Penguins, right? Or is it? This is a meme token.
It's the same thing. Pudgy Penguins is like the project name. Pengu is the token associated with it.
Got it.
Right? It's their utility token. And so the reason why I like Pudgy Penguins overall as a project is because they flipped the script on how to present people their product. A lot of projects in crypto are very crypto forward, right? They're like DeFi this, Bitcoin, Ethereum that, smart contract this, real world asset that. Pudgy Penguins did the complete opposite. Instead of focusing on the crypto aspect, they focused on more of the marketing and the merchandising aspect, right? So the NFT obviously is crypto, but when they made their way into retail, in particular with their partnerships at Walmart, right? That was they were focused on their toys. Now the toys, like Bean would know, because he got a few of the initial Pudgy Penguins release at the Great Value Nation. Those things did come with QR codes that you could use to get NFTs.
Yep.
Right. So there was a crypto component to the damn toys, but that's not what they were selling. They were selling the Pudgy Penguins stuffed animal. And those things became extremely popular. Like when those things got released, they were on end caps, they were on checkout registers. And if you guys know anything about retail, you know that it takes a significant amount of demand for stores to put something on their end caps, right? Because visually, it's like people pass through end caps all the time, right? You might not visit individual aisles, but as you're going through the main area of the stores, you're seeing the checkout caps, you're seeing the end caps, right? So Pudgy Penguin, it started off in Walmart, but Pudgy Penguins made its way onto other retail outlets, right? And so they flipped the script on how to present their products to the broader public. It wasn't a crypto focused thing. It was like, yo, we got cute dolls, right? We got these cute memes, these cute GIFs. And that's where that's how they made their way into the zeitgeist of retail investors. Now, imagine somebody who's like getting into crypto because they heard about Bitcoin. Yeah, they're hedge fund managers talking about it, heard about Ethereum, and they're like, yo, this Pudgy Penguin thing is a crypto project. I freaking bought my daughter's a Pudgy Penguin toy, and you're telling me that has crypto in it? So it's like it introduces the concept of crypto, because like obviously Pudgy Penguin is a DeFi project, right? It's not a central, it's definitely a DeFi project. It introduces the concepts of crypto like NFTs, DeFi, blockchain, right? All of those things are baked into the narrative of Pudgy Penguin, but they don't lead with it. They lead with, yo, we got really cool toys that the kids want. We got cute GIFs, cute memes, and we're in major retail outlets.
Yep.
Like that's how you do it. Right? That's how you do it. That's how you be an effective marketer and sell your product. Sell your products. You sell people something that's easy to understand, and cute stuffed animals is easy to understand. Like you take a look at the prevalence of the pudgy penguin penguins in social media. I talk about because of one of my main storefronts is in Marketplace, right? Facebook Marketplace. I see people use pudgy penguin gifs and memes all the time. These people have no clue about crypto, zero clue about crypto, but they're using a crypto related gif and meme.
They've also opened up licensing. So I'm reading through the chat.
You know what's funny? It reminds me of.
Go ahead.
You're frozen, Bean.
Oh no! Did we lose Brendan?
Bean, are you there?
Oh no, I'm here.
Oh,
I'm
really?
here. I was I just
you
I
froze
glitched for a second. So I thought.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Brendan.
my bad. I was gonna say it's like when they had like the cigarette toys for children. It was just to make them smoke when they get older.
Yeah,
We're getting the kids into the degenerate online gambling, bro.
We get some penguins, but when they get older, they might just be interested in these pudgy penguin NFTs.
dude, can you
They're playing a
imagine?
long game.
Like, I gave my wife one of the pudgies, right? But everything else is sealed and in their original box. Can you imagine some of these kids, bro? Right? They grow up, they get into crypto, and they're like, hold up. I got a pudgy penguin in there that's still sealed. Let's see how much the floor price on that is. Let's see, like, if the NFTs with those toys, the original toys, are of any value. Like, can you imagine opening up, like, if this project has any legs, and I think it does, like opening up a box like that you've had for 10 years, and you're like,
NFT.
yeah, and I'm like, damn, this thing sells for like a few grand, like maybe even more. Like that'd be so freaking cool. I have here pulled up. So we're on. Let me share this next screen here. Will I'm on OpenSea currently. I just want to see give people an overview of just exactly where Pudgy ranks in terms of like the other major projects. Right. So let's go all time. So you get a good view. Obviously, there you go. We were talking about this in the green room. The familiar names in an NFT world, the highest selling IPs, Bored Ape Yacht Club sitting at number 1, Crypto Punks, Azuki. I can't believe I don't see ETH Lizards here. That's kind of crazy. Doodles, right? These are the most well-known projects in the NFT space. And look at where Pudgy Penguin is currently sitting. Now, you'd be like, well, Jay, Pudgy Penguin is only number 6. Bored Ape Yacht Club is still number 1. But you compare this, not just the floor price being, but compare the price action from their all-time highs to where they're now. I guarantee you right now,
held up a lot better.
The floor price of a Bored Ape Yacht Club at 2021, like November, December of 2021, was not 11 ETH, bro.
It was hundreds.
It was not 11 ETH. Hundreds of ETH. Millions of dollars worth for a single Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT. 90% down. And they've been down into the dumps for the entirety of the bull market. Pudgy Penguins did the complete opposite, like I mentioned earlier. Right. At the height. Go ahead, sir.
No, I was gonna say what's funny to me about the Bored Ape Yacht Club. Do you know what the sell sign was there? When every influencer that was entertainer, actor, musician started buying Bored Ape Yacht Clubs. Yeah. Guess who bought the top? They did.
Yep, they did.
Yeah. Oh man,
dude, the floor price for Justin Bieber's well, you can look it up. Check out the full price for the Bape NFT that Bieber bought when he bought the top, and then look at the price. Look at the floor price now, bro. Disgusting.
It's not just NFTs like this. Do you remember how much Snoop paid for his land in the metaverse?
Oh yes,
I think it was Mana.
Man,
it might. I'm not sure
exactly. Was it Decentraland? I don't know.
Decentraland, yeah, Decentraland, yeah.
Anyway, he paid over $2 million for his plot of land. Now it's worth like 10K.
Yep. Yeah.
So the point is, this is actually a point to this. The point is, when you start seeing crazy things happen from people that aren't within the crypto sphere, there's a big sign. There's something you need to pay attention to there. It's either things are going to take off or we're at the top. It's one or the other.
Yeah, bro. Like, if you're not crypto native, if you're not a celebrity who just FOMO'd because you saw your other rich folk, your other rich friends throwing money at nonsense, right? Who the fuck knows about Bored Ape Yacht Club outside of crypto native people? Who the hell knows about CryptoPunks? Who the hell knows about Azuki, Mutant Ape Yacht Club? Who the hell knows about these fucking IPs outside of us here in crypto? Nobody. But Pudgy Penguins, I guarantee you, retail people know more about Pudgy, even though they don't know it's a crypto thing. They know more about Pudgy than all this other stuff.
Oh yeah.
So what happens? So what happens when these things start to hit the top and we start to go parabolic again? Now we don't know if NFTs are going to have the same day in the sun as they had previously. I don't think they will, but there's no doubt that they're going to go up as well. Like they're going to have some additional increase, and the one that people are going to be paying attention to, if that happens, when it happens, is ones that they have had on the shelves before that have had actual eyes on it outside of the crypto sphere. So honestly, I think it was brilliant marketing. I really do. And by the way, they sold 1 million of those in the first year, 1 million plushies in the first 12 months.
Yeah. That's not a number to scoff at, man. Especially when you're like, how competitive is it to go into the stuffed animal business, bro? You're competing with names like Beanie Babies. You're competing with names like Pokemon. Mm-hmm. It's a difficult. It's a highly competitive market that's extremely saturated. Disney? Yeah. Hell yes, sir. That's a competitive market. So to be able to produce those numbers and to be able to beat out those projects and set yourself apart by being on the end caps of major retail stores, like that says something about you. And I spoke about this briefly in the green room and over last week. Luca is the kind of point man that you want for a project because he has something to prove. He's got a chip on his fucking shoulder. When he was looking for people to partner with this particular project, everybody shut the door in his face, bro. Everybody shut the door in his face. Everybody. And now he's got like the last laugh and he's still fucking laughing. He had an interview the other day. He's like, yo, my goal for Pudgy is to make this IP known to the level of a Hello Kitty, bro.
True.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Which is the number one in the world. Like we talked about Disney, we talked about other things. Hello Kitty is literally number one in the world, I think, still.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the kind of guy that you want running point. You want a guy who's a good marketer, who's got something to prove, who's got a chip on his shoulder, that wants to say fuck you to everybody who's like, nah, man, your shit ain't gonna catch any tailwind. I'm not gonna partner with you. Why would we partner with you? We got ETH Lizards, we got ETH Rocks, we got Bape, and we got Azuki. I'm not gonna partner with you. Luca was like, all right, okay, cool. That's fine. Let's look back 4 years.
There's another thing that Pudgy Penguins does that we haven't touched on yet, and I'm about to pull up my screen here. Bam. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but they're also in the GameFi space. Or they're working on it. Yep. So for those of you guys that don't know, like Pudgy Penguins is building a game called Pudgy World, closed beta right now, early access only. But I
cannot wait for this.
Yeah. So and the whole thing is like it's supposed to onboard the goal is to onboard new users without needing like crypto wallets or anything. So it's like this is literally just outbound messaging. Have fun, play the game. Don't worry about the crypto. The crypto comes later. Blah de da. So I'm gonna play this little video for you guys, for those of you who haven't seen it before. Let me know if the sound is coming through. You hear that?
Good, yeah. I have that plushie.
I have that too. This little fish.
It's cute. It's like fun for the whole family.
I have all of those guys. Oh no.
Shark and ice with that funny.
Everyone knows. I was about to say, penguins can fly. So what's great about this, I think, is it looks like it's more aimed towards the younger kids and the people that are like starting to grow up now, which is potentially future revenue, right? So like all the people that are our age that are deep into cryptocurrency is like we're already in our late 20s, early 30s and 40s and stuff, and like we are already actively doing things, but like in order for any sort of society, any sort of culture, any sort of religion to thrive, you have to be bringing on like the new people, the young kids. And what this is doing, this is introducing like, hey, come play the Pudgy Penguins fun game to all the kids that are like 10, 12, whatever. This is like the Roblox alternative, or maybe like slightly lower down than Roblox. So this is fantastic. Like it's not really my type of game, but like they're building on the younger and the newer generation. So I think it's
Here's the thing too, Will.
Mm-hmm.
If this is something that you make attractive to the level of like a Minecraft or a Fortnite or a RuneScape or a Maple Story for throwback, Maple Story for those younger generation, they're more willing to learn new things to be able to play the game that they like to play. There is this one article that I was reading about the gaming industry, and when kids ask their parents for money for games, they're like, hey, what do you want? They're like, hey, Ma, could you just get me like the currency for Minecraft, or like the currency that I need to play Fortnite, et cetera, stuff like that.
Yeah.
If I'm going to try and connect these dots, like, well, what's to stop the Pudgy team of like, hey, if you wanna buy stuff online, then you're gonna have to use the Pudgy token, the Pengu token. Right? You want to buy a new hat for your Pudgy? It'll cost you a few Pengu here and there.
Microtransactions, here we come.
Right? So their microtransactions, I guarantee you, are going to come in the form of their utility token, which is Pengu. Also, guess what? The abstract chain is also live, I believe, already. I'm pretty sure it's live already. They also have an L1 abstract chain. Yep.
Well, I'll be damned. Good for them.
Yep.
Fucking
so they're trying to attack all avenues. If I'm going to bet on something, I'm going to bet on the one that has dug its roots the deepest into retail. And that's the Pudgy Penguins IP.
Yep.
I'm going to bet on something, right? Because that's what we're betting on, right? We're betting on adoption. If any of these projects are going to get adopted, well, the most well-known is Pudgy Penguin.
And guess what? If they don't become worth any money, at least they're cute, and my children or my grandchildren one day will enjoy it.
Yo, Bean, you ever played Neopets? Will you guys ever played Neopets?
Okay.
Oh man!
Not only did I play Neopets, bro, like I was ranked so high in Neopets as probably someone that was too old that should have been playing Neopets. I have been playing Neopets so long from the beginning that I had this item that was like illegal to use in battles when they brought battles out. But I had 8 of them. And so I stacked all of my items with this illegal item, and I couldn't lose.
Oh my god, that's what else I'm kind of envisioning. I'm envisioning Pudgy World to be like to be somewhat like a Neopets, right? But I only have that to compare to because it's really the only game that I can remember that's very similar to what I envision. Yeah, like so maybe like a Neopets kind of experience. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I forgot about these things.
I think that's a really good example, actually, Jay, because it was such an immersive world back then when you didn't even have immersion, right? It wasn't like you were having a live game. You were kind of just going places, clicking on things, but there was a lot of immersion in it still. Like,
it was
it was
point and clicking, but there was a lot of customization.
But like, they kept building on top of it, and my guess is it's probably still going. It's been a long time since I've signed in, but
this is, man, I forgot about Neopets, man. I just Googled them and I'm like, what are Neopets? And then like I see the Mirka and the Mohawk, and I'm like, holy smokes. I forgot about the little fucking Jub, man.
Will, can you share screen your Neopets?
I'm gonna see if I can sign in right now. I'm gonna see if I can figure out my sign.
Yes, sir. That'd be awesome.
Share screen. All right, so these are what Neopets look like, guys. I'm gonna share this tab instead. Oh, look at that Reddit. Here we go. So we've got the Bloomaroo. Holy smokes! The Bloomaroo, the Chia, the Flotsam, the Jetsam, Jub, Chachik, Mirka. I remember this one very distinctly. In the Bloomaroo and the Mohawk, man, and the Minky. Godly.
Yeah.
These things.
So this was just basically a spin-off on the creature capture thing.
Yeah.
Pokemon, but instead of being in a handhold, this was something that you could play on your desktop. It was basically a very similar concept. Creature capture, you could raise them, feed them, customize them, dress them up, evolve them, etc., trade them, and then, like Bean said, somewhere down along the line, they introduced battling. It was basically a spin on the creature capture theme, but instead of playing it on a little console or a handheld, you're playing it online. And so that's what I imagine Pudgy to be. Obviously, they're probably going to be a lot more creative than a point and click thing, right? There's probably going to be RPG elements to it, probably going to be some platform elements, probably going to introduce elements like, the Mario Party kind of scene where you have your Pudgies and then they're playing different mini games, Mario Kart, etc., etc. I mean, sky's the limit. Take inspiration from all those successful games.
This is nuts, man. I forgot all about this. Wow. This Reddit stream that I hopped into. Reminder, your Neopets are long dead from neglect, you monster.
I don't think there's any way I'm going to be able to remember even what my username and password is from that.
Oh, that's okay, perfectly fine. I'm gonna do a hard transition, guys. We're gonna go into the last piece of news that I wanted to cover today. Oh, dang it. I brought down my share screen. Here we go. But this last piece of news is some of the stuff that you guys are all pretty familiar with, more likely than not. We've got the Richard Hart.
Yes, sir.
Official press release is appearing everywhere in major news. So big shout out to Mr. Taylor Kennedy here. He has been just an absolute champ. This dude, I think that he's the one that's been, he's an OG Hexakin from what I understand. And he has been reaching out to all sorts of syndications, and he made this official press release. And I don't know how he disseminated it or who he contacted, but like, make sure if you guys aren't already following Taylor Kennedy, he's at 250 Smurf on
I love that 250 Smurf.
But yeah, like so check it out. Let's take a look at all these different, like, investing, CoinDesk, Decrypt, or Crypto Daily, Benzinga, Street Roundtable, Chainwire. They're all using his little report thing. So we're gonna actually go. We're gonna click on this little linkety link right here, and I believe, oh, there it goes. And then we're gonna share this tab instead. So the coverage report, Richard Hart triumphs in. Oh shoot! This has all of the different. Wow, look at that. This shows you all of the different
articles about him. Yeah,
different articles about it. Yeah. So I don't know exactly how they do this, but I know that a lot of news dissemination organizations, they just take like generic write-ups and they fucking copy paste and post it on their thing. So like, I know that Legacy Corporate News does this as well, but this is freaking cool. So let's go ahead and just let's just pick one of these. What's one that I like? Well, we like Binance. We're gonna click on Binance. So here we go. Man, can I like actually zoom in a little? I'll go to the URL. Click on the URL. Share this tab instead. All right, so Richard Hart triumphs in court after the SEC case dismissed in full 25 April. So yeah, big shout out again to Mr. Taylor Kennedy for doing a good job writing up this report and making it accurate. A lot of the other organizations up until this point were saying like, oh, the SEC is walking away, or like, oh yeah, the SEC is dismissing its charges or dismissing its complaint against Richard Hart. And it's like, nah, bro, that's a bunch of bullshit. What happened is you guys got stomped. So landmark ruling marks major win for cryptocurrency, open source innovation, and free speech. In a sweeping legal victory, serial entrepreneur, author, and philanthropist Richard Hart has won the complete dismissal of all claims brought against him by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. So then it goes on to talk about how Judge Carroll went through the the complaint and everything, and they go through the entire story, and it just Taylor does a fantastic job of doing this write-up. I don't know if Taylor did the write-up himself, but as far as I know, this is the press release that he put together, and so this is a paid press release. So oh no, but they're all fucking paid. Journalists write news, so journalists get paid for the stuff that they write. So they sent this out to everybody, and there was, like you guys already saw on Chainwire, all of these cats and kittens were sharing this freaking awesome story, and they were all using the same graphics and stuff. So I freaking love it. We got Richard Hart top hat on the crown for the chess piece knocked over the SEC. So I wanted to share this with you guys. And for the folks at home who haven't seen this, go check out Taylor 250 Smurf. But I want to open it up for thoughts and conversations. I think we sort of kind of covered this a little bit earlier, but yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on Mr. Richard Hart and the win in the SEC and all the stuff that's been going on lately?
Well, it's a domino to fall. It's a big domino to fall. There's still, some things out there that we'd like to see put to rest. But I think this is one of the biggest ones. I think this is unique also because almost every other either founder or platform or coin that was brought before the SEC, even if they won, there were portions of their case that they still had to pay a fine for. So even if they overall had a huge win in court, they still generally had some small things that they had to pay a fine for, like XRP, right? They still had to settle for their selling to businesses and entities, right? Like their overall coin, not a security. Most of what they fought the SEC on got thrown out, but they still had to pay a pretty hefty fine for that small portion of what would be considered a security offering. Richard Hart, on the other hand, didn't have to pay anything, didn't have the SEC throw the case out like they did with other ones that were pending. No, a judge actually ruled that no fraud, no token is its own entity, and none of those are his alter egos as they were accusing him of. And lastly, nothing was a security offering. So no IPO, no security offering, no fraud, and no alter ego. So everything that they brought against him was not only thrown out by the judge, right? It didn't even go to trial. It was thrown out. Like, this isn't even close to a case that I can't even think about that I need to throw this out. So it's actually unprecedented that even the ones that did really well, that won their cases, they still had to go to court, right? They still had to fight for years. This was so cut and dry, and great job by Richard Hart's legal team. But they didn't even get to trial. This was tossed out before trial. And not only that, but it actually gives clarity to Richard Hart and the ecosystem, because guess what? We can't be asked as a security again. We are 100% not a security. Hex, Pulse Chain, not a security. Pulse X, not a security. And fraud, no fraud. So like almost anything that they could potentially look at into the future about other platforms, other coins, is already settled for Richard Hart in the Hex and Pulse Chain ecosystem. So it's unprecedented. It actually helps crypto in general, not just Richard Hart in the Hex ecosystem. But but overall, like freedom of speech, freedom of movement, like these are big things that he was talking about. And for a judge to rule in his favor is just huge for the space in general. So one thing that upsets me is people that are still trying to act like Richard Hart didn't win, but the SEC, walked back their case. It's so disingenuous to me. And it's really frustrating that even people in crypto can't even say, hey, congrats, Richard Hart. You did a great job, or congrats. Look, we agree that he won. No, they always want to find a way to turn this into, oh no, he didn't win. They just decided not to continue, right? Like, there's so much hate for him in the crypto universe that it's a bit sad to see. But back to the positive notes, huge win.
Hell yeah, broski. I'm right there with you. Agent J, do you have any thoughts on the stuff going on with the RH and the wins and stuff?
Not too much that hasn't already been discussed. It was an inevitability. We know that the SEC were they were delaying. I don't quite know why they had to delay, but hey, they did it, and they still ended up not filing for a revision. So we knew that was going to come, and it did. What I'm more interested now, so I'm past the past, and now I'm interested to see what are the next step forwards. Because when you take a look at all of the barriers that have been placed in front of this entire ecosystem for the past 4 years, the SEC being one of the biggest pain points, and obviously the schism that occurred after the launch of Pulse-Chain, Ghost launch, P-Hex versus E-Hex, you name it, right? The schism of the community that was once in complete 100% solidarity. Right, so those were like the two biggest pain points. Richard disappearing, not being able to stream because of the legal battles. Another third big pain point. What's the next move? Because now, technically speaking, we still have the schism. All right, you got to bring the community back together. But the biggest thing, the legal overhang, right? The legal dark cloud that was hovering around this entire ecosystem for the better part of the last 2 years, gone.
Yep.
So what's the next step? Well, how do we bring the community together? Is Richard going to come back and stream? Because if this is the only positive thing that's going to come from the recent results, I don't know if that's enough to pump us back to all-time highs, or to even make new all-time highs. I don't think that's enough. Like, what's the impetus?
Yeah.
What's the impetus?
I don't disagree, but we also have Interpol. That was the other thing I was going to say. We still have Interpol hanging over us. I think this is bigger than Interpol personally, because United States is huge, right? Sure. Securities. So I don't want to put those on the same playing field, but that would be nice if that was cleared up as well, right? Like, that would be nice if that wasn't hanging over his head.
Yeah.
Part of me wonders if we've been fighting like the shadow monster on Lost that doesn't exist, and the monster is like meaningless at the end of the story. Yep. Like have we been fighting the boogeyman that makes no difference this whole time, like telling each other campfire stories and being like, man, the SEC is the only thing that's holding us back. And it's like, as soon as we do that, then the prices will pump and people will join and blah, 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 blah. Have we been attacking the wrong thing this whole time? That's my 2 cents on it. And I do love the fact that like the correct information is getting out, and the good, the correct framing of it is being broadcast out to the public. But part of me wonders, like, man, was this just a fucking campfire story? Was this just a narrative that didn't have any sticking power other than like it kept people in for longer? And now, like, if the prices stayed down for longer as a result, like, and this basically this win doesn't do anything for the ecosystem, then it's like, oh snap, do we have more people that have just been holding, like waiting for some magical thing to happen once this, X, Y, and Z thing goes down
gone.
Or whatever.
Yep.
Exactly. Yeah. So like, have we been shadow boxing something? Like, have we been sitting in the corner throwing punches at something that's not actually there this whole time?
Or at the wrong opponent.
Exactly. Yeah.
At the wrong opponent. Right. Because we knew that the inevitable result was that Richard Hart was going to win.
Yeah. From the outset, when that when we first made that when we like I remember it like it was yesterday. I was driving through Arizona on my way to Las Vegas to do a tower job, like when was this 2013 or 2023, not 13. And I remember I was driving on stream. We're just like, man, this fucking SEC brief is full of bullshit, man. It's not going anywhere. And then we started attacking it, as we do. And it's like, has that been the real problem? Has that been the thing that's been holding us back? It's been fun to have an enemy. Don't get me wrong. Like, I fucking loved every step of the way, but like now we're not seeing any difference in the ecosystem. There's still a whole bunch of there's still a whole bunch of splitness. There's not a whole lot of outbound marketing. There's not a whole lot of, Richard streaming. There's whatever campfire stories you want to call it, right? Like, was this the thing that turns us around, or is this just another like cool notch to put on our belt that doesn't really mean anything at the time? Maybe it means a whole lot later on. That's my thoughts on it. So I like the point you brought up there, Jay.
I'm in the exact same thought process as you. I'm gonna make a comparison that a lot of people are not gonna like, but I look at the Ripple case.
Yeah.
Ripple arguably had a much more difficult time because they got slapped with a lawsuit during a time when there was very little clarity in crypto in terms of like what the regulations look like. What this right? Like they were basically front and center in terms of who were the people that the SEC was going to come after first. Right. And they got slapped with a lawsuit way before Luna, Celsius, FTX, Three Arrows happened. But what was a big difference? The community that held XRP, right, the XRP army, they stayed in solidarity. Right, regardless of how choppy the price chart looked, regardless of the fact that they missed an entire bull market, they didn't make a new all-time high.
Yeah,
they stayed in solidarity. Now, there's an argument to be made why Richard didn't go back on stream, because obviously he had to be very careful with what he said. But the people over at Ripple, Brad, Chris, those guys were making partnerships. Those guys were going around during the media tours. Obviously, it's not an apples to apples comparison, right? Because XRP is extremely centralized on one end and Pulsechain is not, right? But the big difference in what the community was doing, we spent a lot of time. Now, I'm not saying everybody, because there was like RG3, for example. RG3 was very focused on keeping people together. Right. But a lot of people in crypto Twitter, right, once the schism happened and once all these other fucking new projects started popping up, you had schism within the schism. Yeah, well, fuck the cores. Right now we're only memes. Teddy, P-Die, or it's like, well, fuck them. Tangang only.
Yep.
Fuck everybody else. Fuck the cores. All right, so it's like schism within schism within schism. A community fractured significantly.
And becoming more fractured, right? Now we're getting a goal pulse sacrifice, and I don't know if you guys pay attention on the
so many sacrifices. Yeah, I wonder if XRP ran a bunch of sacrifices. I don't remember that,
bro. Like well,
they did it in an IPO phase, so that's kind of a sacrifice.
The biggest voices that we had in our community that we thought were like the leaders, a lot of them fell off the wagon, either disappeared or were like we found out that they didn't have the best intentions for the community.
Right. They changed what they've been preaching for 5 years in an instant to try to do a money grab.
And so,
not naming any names, but some definitely did.
And so now I'm interested in what happens. The boogeyman is gone. Boogeyman is gone. Okay, and we can't change what happened in the past. We can't change the fact that the majority, like the community fractured. A lot of people spent the majority of their time throwing shit at each other instead of building connections, instead of outreach. All right. So what happens now? Now the boogeyman is gone. Can we shift our focus once again? And what happens after? All right, because everybody's hanging on. Richard got to come back to stream. Richard, what if he never comes back to stream?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
What, like he's like, oh, Richard gonna pump our bags. He's gonna rotate the sack funds and pump our bags. What if he never does that?
Yeah. What if it never happened, dude? Like, you're fucking hitting the nail right on the head, man. It's like, I would not be surprised to see us have an 8-year lull in the fight, just like XRP did. Just like if we just totally skip this bull market, it would not surprise me in the least. I'd be like, Yep, that sounds about right. You know,
And if we skip this bull market, Will, what would you feel about that? Would you stay strong? Would you still believe, or would that change your mentality?
Brian, I got Quattro Cinco tattooed on my arm. I can only do nothing but stake more, baby.
Yeah.
Just the other day, man. Just the other day, there was a fucking juicy Quattro Cinco steak for sale on the market, and like nobody was buying it. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? And so I doubled down and I bought that thing at like a super crazy discount. So I got more T-shares stacked up, and it's just like that takes care of, like, there's been a super huge period where I haven't had like super consistent tower work, and so I'd been skipping my like once a week Quattro Cinco steak, and so like I just got this really big one that's like, holy fuck, dude, I'm good for like a year of hex staking. But it's just been like, it's been crazy, man. Like I ain't going anywhere. Like the principles stay the same, but the people will come and go, and the prices, if they get lower, then I'll just make more money in the real world by, like, you know, helping out Alan, or going and building towers, or selling cars, or fucking prostituting myself on the street, and I'll just get more T-shares, and I'll get more hex stakes, and I'll be around, and I'll be like, I might not be I might be streaming more or less, who the fuck knows, but like I like hanging out with the DGen Roundtable. And I like chilling out and talking at conferences and teaching people about, you know, self-betterment and delayed gratification. And the principles are all the same. Like, none of that shit has changed. The only thing that changes is the fucking number of people that are screaming each other and whatever the price charts say. But if the price charts are low, then I can buy more. If the price charts are high, then I guess I can buy less. But, you know, I'm still into the ideas. The ideas don't die. That's the hardest thing to kill. So they're not going anywhere. The price chart might reflect differently, but I'm here hanging out. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah, I have a pretty strong opinion myself. So thank you for sharing, Will. And Jay, I'm happy to hear your opinion in a minute as well. You know, one of the things that we always talk about is responsibility for our own projects, where we put our money. You know, like, I don't expect anyone to spend their entire time pumping my bags. Like, if I did, then that means that I'm not taking responsibility for what I'm doing within the ecosystem, right? And so if I'm going to preach responsibility, if I'm going to preach, you know, taking your self-worth and taking control of it, then I have to actually believe that, and actually have to continue with that. And so I'm here continuing to advocate for the ecosystem, advocate for what the vision of Pulse Chain and Hex is or are. And if Richard Hart doesn't come back, that doesn't change my opinion that this is a potentially game-changing protocol for the future of crypto and the future of decentralized finance. Now, would it be easier if Richard Hart streams? Would it be easier? Sorry, my computer's about to die. 1 second.
You're
would
good.
It be easier if Richard Hart buys our bags with pumps our bags with a lot of the SAC funds? Sure. But I'm not in this because it's easy. I'm not in crypto because I'm going to make money quickly. If we skip this bull cycle and I still feel strongly about the project, then I'm okay holding my money there for the future. I'm okay with that. I've always had a plan for 8 years. Minimum 8 to 10 years. Minimum, right? Like, you usually need 2 to 3 cycles to actually make a fair amount of money in the crypto sphere, because the first cycle you're going to lose a lot of money making dumb decisions. It's just the decision. It's just the way that it is. Even if you're in TradFi, crypto will just play so differently. So most people, 95+% are going to make mistakes in crypto their first cycle. Be that sending money to the wrong wallet, investing in the wrong protocol. You know, there's a lot of ways that you can make mistakes, and we've made a lot of them, which is why we're here trying to share those mistakes with the world, so that you don't make the same ones that we do. But as Jay and I talk about a lot, the best way to learn is through lessons that hurt.
Yep.
You know, I lost a lot of money. We've talked about it a lot. And guess what? I'm in a much better place now because of those mistakes and that money that I spent. Expensive lessons, but lessons that I would never have felt so fully in my heart and my soul if I hadn't made them, if I hadn't actually put the skin into the game. And then also taking the steps to learn and to better myself moving forward so that I don't make those mistakes again. Correct. So going back to Richard Hart and the ecosystem, like, I can't expect someone else to make me rich. I'm responsible where I put my money, and I'm responsible for my future. And so I have to make those decisions. Am I heavily invested in the Richard Heart ecosystem? Yes. Am I 100% of my crypto bags invest in the Richard Heart ecosystem? No. Like I do have a wide variety of things that I invest in. Mainly, my favorite still has been Bitcoin. I think I was the one person in the Roundtable early on that I kept a lot of money in Bitcoin. And I did rotate some of that into Ethereum too early, unfortunately. But I still truly believe in this ecosystem. I think that there are a lot of smart people, but I also think there are a lot of grifters that were original Hexkins and may have gotten lucky just by investing at the right time. And look, were they smart? Yeah, sure. Were some of them lucky? Yeah, sure. Right? Like there's a little bit of both involved when you make a 10,000x. And how many of the people were actually able to take those gains that weren't staked out at 5555? I have 555 stakes. I have stakes from ladder stakes from a lot of different areas. I'm not currently staking in a bull market. I'm not staking a lot of my funds because I want those to be liquid, right? And so there's a little bit of a difference there. But yeah, I mean, you have to take responsibility for your own actions and your own wealth. So I'm not going to put my full financial bags into Richard Heart, even though I love him and I respect him. I love what he built and I want him to stream again. And I think it'll be great for the ecosystem. I do believe that he'll probably pump our bags with some of the funds, maybe not all of them at some point, but it might not be this cycle, right? There's been so much bullshit that happened in Pulse Chain that I would not at all be upset at Richard Heart. He said, fuck you. Like you don't deserve me to pump your bags. Okay. So you will have to look yourselves in the eyes and say, it's not Richard Heart, it's me. Okay. And so I'm okay waiting another cycle if I have to. And I do believe at some point that this is going to take off, but you have to look inside yourself. You can't blame Richard. I'm sorry.
Yeah. That's good, man. It's all your own fucking fault, you filthy degenerates. That's good. I like that, Bean.
Sorry for a bit of a rant, but I feel really strongly about that.
Agent Jay, you got any thoughts? And then we'll move to close.
Yeah, man. All good points. I couldn't agree with it more. And you guys echoed exactly what I was thinking internally when I made those points. Right? What happens if he never streams again? What happens if you don't get the SAC funds rotated and you don't get him to pump your bags? What happens if we completely skip the cycle? Do we go the way of XRP, where the community stayed strong and built relationships throughout an extended bear market for them, with the boogeyman still looming over their head, or we were just full of hot air? And yeah, Richard never comes back to stream. The boogeyman is gone, the community's fractured, and the everybody just keeps throwing shit at each other. And we skip the bull market, and then the project just dies a slow and painful death. Yeah, either one of those things is going to happen, right? You're either going to have a comeback story, or you're gonna die slow and painful death. So that's why I said at the beginning. Now my attention is focused on what does the community do now moving forward, because the boogeyman is gone. Right? How do you plan for the potential of no stream, no rotation, no bull market? What do you do in that aspect? Do you still focus on the community building? Do you still focus on outreach and partnerships? Or do you just give up? One of those things. It's one of those two, man. This is one of the few times where shit is binary. It's either we get a comeback story, right? We got a hero's comeback story, or you die a slow, painful death because everybody just said, fuck it, no more.
But even if there's a hero comeback story, it might not be the cycle.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. We don't know how long that hero story could take. That comeback story could take. Yeah. And again, honestly, if it doesn't happen this cycle, I only blame the community. I only blame ourselves. I really do. Because there's been so much bullshit that's happened in the last 6 months. And yes, red candles make people do crazy things. You know what else makes people do crazy things? Investing too much in an ecosystem and not being able to live off the money if it goes down 99%. Like, you have to, we always talk about this, right? Like, you have to have a plan for multiple scenarios. And I'm sorry, even if you're an ultra bull, you have to have a somewhat small percentage plan if it goes the opposite way, and this went the opposite way. And a lot of original Hexkins
Do you know why, Bean?
considered, and I think that's why
Because
they
a lot
changed. I think that's why they show their true colors.
Do you know why that happened? One of the reasons why that happened, Bean, is because some of these fucking people got rich too fast, too quick. Have
Yep.
no idea. They didn't have any idea how to handle the wealth, how to create wealth, how to preserve it. All they got was they got lucky. And then during the bear market, they didn't experience a bear market. Some of them were is their first cycle. They didn't know how to handle a bear market.
Yep.
Right. And then once the community was fractured, they're like, oh shit, I only knew Hex. I only knew eHex. What's this DeFi shit?
Mhm.
Everybody's talking the big
Fair
game about
point.
DeFi, not knowing how to navigate DeFi.
eHex wasn't DeFi, was it?
Right? Like, how do you spot the scams? How do you spot the grifters? Because we didn't have any of those back then. We were one community standing in solidarity. We had one product, eHex. That's all we knew. And a lot of people, instead of building skills in order to prepare themselves for the eventuality of Pulse Chain, they just focused on one thing. Got rich too fast, too quick. Didn't know how to handle anything outside of eHex. And a lot of those holes and weaknesses got exposed when shit hit the fan. When the grifters came into Pulse Chain.
Mm-hmm.
Right? When the red candles started coming one after the other continuously. And so have you flushed a lot of that? Like, did you get a mass exodus of people just completely get flushed out of the system? Yeah, absolutely. So now the important thing is, what do you do after? Because right now there's no more big boogeyman. So
I will say, hey, I'll just give this to the people. You know, I know there's a lot of people that are big into Hex and Pulse Chain that watch our channel. And I would say, look inside yourself. You know, what can you do to help an ecosystem that you want to see thrive and succeed? You know, we are at least here trying to bring positivity to the ecosystem. We've covered the entire Richard Hart trial. We covered the bear market of eHex. We covered everything from every single standpoint. We're out here trying to onboard people. We're out here giving talks at local crypto conferences. I'm giving talks at colleges about decentralized finance, about Bitcoin, about Ethereum. You know, we're out. We're not just here giving you streams. We're actually in the world trying to bring people into crypto, bring people into the Pulse Chain community. And we don't talk about that a lot, honestly, because we're not trying to pump ourselves up. We're not trying to say how great we are. We're just saying that every single person needs to be responsible to bring people into the ecosystem. That includes us as well. Look, we have to do more as well. I'm not saying we're doing enough. We have to do more as well. But all of us need to look back and say, hey, what do we believe that Pulse Chain is? And what do we think that it should be? And how do we make changes to get it to the place that we think can be great, that it can be the best platform in the entire crypto sphere? Because I believe that it can. I believe that it has a beautiful code. I believe in the decentralized nature of it. Even if we get launched on an exchange, it doesn't change the decentralized nature of the protocol. And so I just think there's a lot of awesome opportunity here, but we have to take the bull by the horns, and we are the ones that have to make a difference. No one else is going to do it for you.
I agree. On that note, gentlemen, what do you have going on in the near future, and where can the folks find you? Brendan, we'll go ahead and start off with you, bro, since you got the mic.
Well, you can find me at anonymous_bean on X. And if you're ever in Miami, let me know. I know a few people and we can have a lot of fun. And I'll only be in Miami for another 4 months, actually. I'll be moving out of Miami in August. And maybe I'll let people. What's that?
You got a place picked out?
I'll be in the DC area.
Oh, with Josh.
Yeah, buddy.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Oh, you guys are gonna be fucking filthy degenerates together, bro. I could already see it.
Hell yeah. I can see myself going over to his house and doing a dual stream for Sunday nights with being on same place for DGen Roundtable. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
That's awesome,
man.
It's a big change, but I'm excited. So if you're coming to Miami in May, June, or July, let me know. Hit me up. I will take you out for a great time with all legal activities guaranteed. And I'm that kind of guy. So other than that, I'm just excited. Honestly, I'm glad to be on the show tonight. It's been with the move, getting married, like new job. It's been tough, and it's been tough to stream. But the desire is still there. The desire to continue to help people grow within the crypto space, within the Pulse Chain space, and be a positive for the entire community. That desire hasn't faded for me at all. I want to be here and I want to help. and I want to build. And also, I want to help be positive about people that are doing good things in the ecosystem, because there still are a lot of good builders. There's still a lot of great people that are doing good things. And yes, they get overshadowed by all the bullshit, but there are a lot of great people that are doing good things in this ecosystem. Like, the building is happening. Like, I don't need Richard Hart to build a wallet, right? I have an internet money wallet. Like, that's built for Pulse Chain by Hexagons, right? Like, there are things that I want Richard Hart to do, or the builders for Pulse Chain to do. I don't think a wallet is one of them personally. So, just things that I'm thinking about. But I see a lot of great builders out here. Shout out to Coach earlier. It was PTGC. That's been a good protocol, for on Pulse Chain. But you need to bring value to the core coins. If you're not bringing value to the core coins, then what is the point of your protocol? That's something that I look at every time I look at investing in a protocol. I say, okay, is this helping the ecosystem? If my answer is no, it's probably not something that I want to invest in on Pulse Chain. I can find other things that are outside of Pulse Chain that I can invest in that don't help Pulse Chain. But if you're building on Pulse Chain and it's not helping the ecosystem, then it's probably not something that I'm going to spend as much time focusing on personally. Anyway, my last rant of the night. Agent J, take us out. Don't take us out, but where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on X at _P90Hex, on Instagram at agent_J Schroth, but you can find me most often on the Telegram channel, because that's where I do most of the work in terms of providing Telegram exclusive content to the DGen Roundtable, 7:45 a.m. MST every single day, or as many days out of the week as I can possibly manage, giving the people updates on what's going on the market, primarily focused on Bitcoin, but we do altcoins upon request. And then sometimes we also do a very altcoin focused heavy stream on occasion. And when things are happening, we also tend to focus heavily on their RH assets as well. So thank you, everybody, for joining us on this wonderful Sunday evening. We know that time is your most valuable asset, so we do appreciate that you spent some of that time here with us, whether you're here joining us live or on the replay. So until next time, like the damn video, comment, subscribe, scan that QR code, jump into the Telegram, and join one of the best communities out here in crypto. Until next time, Will, take us out.
All righty, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you that don't know, you guys can find me and all of my social medias based off of the Pulse Chain domain, will.pls. will.pls.fyi. That is where all of my socials can be found. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Telegram. There's even a link tree based over there. You guys can find everything that I'm doing and everything that I'm about over there. Before we go, I actually forgot to shout out the folks at home who are interacting with the chat. So it's time for another quick little round of chat motherfucking shout outs. While I find those chats that I wanted to shout out, I want to let you guys know that I'm going to be rolling down to Austin tomorrow and hanging out with my brother, and then going and doing a tower over in the Austin tower farm that they've got up there on the hill. So if you guys are in the Austin, Texas area and you want to hang out, then just hit me up on Twitter, or Telegram is probably the best one for those of you guys that have my number. Then hit me up. There's definitely some friends over in the Austin area that I have to swing by and see, but hit me up anyways, just so I know that you're interested and free. But to carry on with the chat shoutouts, we've got some folks that have joined us, starting with Mr. K Hudson. Is it Whiskey Wednesday yet? Not yet, sir. Just kidding. It's always Whiskey motherfucking Wednesday. So you guys can come hang out with us on Wednesday, where next Wednesday we will be doing a Whiskey Wednesday. That is the next thing that we have lined up, as far as I know, unless there's some hidden mysterious guest that I am totally blanking on right now. I'm pretty sure that next.
Well, no. We actually might have a really freaking good guest coming up this Wednesday, Mr. Will Stevenson.
Oh, well, forgive me. I have forgotten and totally blanked. So I will leave that as a secret for you guys. You guys can catch us on Whiskey.
No secrets. No secrets.
Is he locked in?
If there's a confirmation, there was a yes. If we get confirmation, somebody named Charlie from Cultivate Crypto might be on this Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. That'll be nice to have. I like it when Charlie joins us for streams. We could do some super cool TA fun stuff between Jay and Charlie and Zenith and whoever else is joining. That's going to be an awesome show. I look forward to it. But that's what we've got coming up on Wednesday. And then on Friday, Friday we did not cover the book that we were going to cover for book club. So we've pushed it off just another week. So it is the 4th book that we covered for book club, The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey. So it's a super good one. You guys can catch that on Friday. But as far as Mr. K Hudson, shout out to you, broski. It is not Whiskey Wednesday yet, but it's always Whiskey Wednesday. Right in here, my friend. Always Whiskey Wednesday in the heart. Next up in the chat shadows, we've got my good friend Josh, Mr. Slide 180, coming in with the cheers. Good to see you, Joshikins. My friend Josh is actually making some delicious, I want to say it's cherry or watermelon mead coming up in the near future. So I'm stoked to go grab some of that. It's going to be a good time. We'll get nice and toasty, and I'll tell you guys how it is. But it's good to see you, Josh. Next up, we've got Farmer J talking about words are hard. This is back in reference to your technical analysis, Mr. Agent J. Words are difficult. Charting is difficult. There's lots of things in the world that are difficult. So Farmer J, as long as you can figure out those words, broski, you'll be A-okay. Maybe stick with the easier ones. That's what I know that I do. So good to see you, Farmer. Welcome. Glad we could have you on the stream. Next up, we've got my very good brother, Samuel Stevenson. Like the video. Abso-fucking-lutely right. Go check out Sam's channel as well. He started doing his Scrutinizing Sundays again. He's now talking about podcasting and using switchers and doing cool like camera changes stuff. So go check out his show over there at I can't remember what the name of the channel is. Sam, you guys will have to just go and Google that and find it yourselves.
Isn't it just the Samuel Stevenson?
It used to be, and then he changed it to like Rapid Architectural, and so he keeps changing the name of it. I don't know what it is, but if you guys check out, if Google Rapid Architectural, you'll probably find it. But he speaks about his journey in the architectural world, and also the content creation stuff. So you guys can go check out what he's doing. He does a stream every Sunday, and I know that he announces it in the Bungalows for Bachelors Telegram that he set up a long time ago. So y'all can check out his stuff over there. I know that I've got notifications on for when he streams. Next up, as Brennan was just saying, we have Coach X from the Alien Crew. It would be better to just shill their token and X on Pulse Chain than this. I'm not sure. Oh, I think he was talking about the Pudgy Penguins. Sir, you are free to believe whatever you please, Mr. Coach X. I'm fond of your guys' product, and it's certainly made me a lot of money. So yeah. I like what y'all are doing over there, and I also like what Pudgy Penguins is doing. Yeah. They're approaching this stuff in a whole new different way. So there's lots of different tools that we have in the toolbox. Some people like using the hammer for everything. Some people like using the chisel. Some folks like getting out the power drill. So it's just another tool in the toolbox, but we're glad to have you with us here on the stream. Mr.
Yeah, man,
Coach.
like being said, like the PTGC, the UFO ecosystem, it's one of the better looking charts on Pulse Chain. So kudos to you guys. I like
it. It brings value to the chain.
Exactly.
Yes.
But this is the DGen Roundtable, my friend. We talk about whatever the fuck we want to talk about, bro.
Yes, sir. We're going to shill what we like. And it's not even shilling. We're literally just talking about a cool thing. So you guys can call it shilling if you like. I always think
I'm shilling.
I don't have any Pengu. I don't have any Pengu. I bought it low. I bought some low, sold it. It's not something that I'm super interested in, but I'm interested in paying attention because I have all of these mint condition plushies in plastic wrapping that hopefully will be worth money someday.
Yeah, very
good. Like I said, I'm very forward, man. I'm very forward and honest. I'm shilling you my bags. But I made you a very compelling fucking argument as to why I think it's going to be successful. I didn't just come here and say, yeah, man, I think this is great. I think everybody should buy it. Not financial advice.
Yep.
All right. And that fucking boilerplate pitch that most of these fucking influencers sell you. I gave you a very, very reasonable, rational, logical argument as to why I think Pudgy Penguins will blow the fucking heads out of all these like other NFT projects, bro. So,
but it's a good point. Like, what they're doing is something different than everyone else. They're not just focused on the people in this small pool of crypto. They're trying to widen their net to a place where most people aren't, and that's what I really like about it. Because even if they bring people into Pudgy Penguins, guess what? They're now going to other ecosystems as well because they're bringing them to crypto. So that's a benefit of everybody. Like I said, when Richard Hart won his case, that was a benefit of all crypto, even if you don't invest in Pulse Chain, right? Yeah. So if Pudgy Penguins bring people into the crypto space, that's a benefit for all of us, even if you don't invest in Pudgy Penguins.
Yep.
So I think it's good.
Imagine like that idea though. We take that same thing that Pudgy's doing, we apply it to Pulse Chain. Perhaps we could learn a thing or two. So I don't know, Coach X, shout out to you, broski. It's good that we can have you in the chats, and we're going to talk about the things that we like. Agent J is abso-fucking-lutely right. And finally, speaking of things that we like, make sure that you guys hit that like button. Shout out to Mr. M Rock Jockey coming in clutch. making sure that he likes this video. Make sure that you guys like the video. Smash that like button. Come hang out. Come have a good time. And I suppose that we will see you next time. It's time for me to read the end of the show copywriting. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I need to make sure that I have this in the right part of my screen so that I can not only read it to you, but I can also click the button to end the show at the right time. Now that I am Mr. Producer with my hands all over the place. All right, so I want to thank you all for spending your valuable time with us here on the DGen Roundtable. As Agent J just said a moment ago, we know that time is your most important asset, and we appreciate you investing it right here with us. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Will Stevenson, but more importantly, you have been watching the DGen Roundtable. Mr. Producer, which is me, go ahead and get that trigger finger ready because it's time to remind all the folks at home to remember to DGen responsibly.